What do you expect from the kid who kept listening to the story of Noah building an ark and sailing across the floods, the story of Moses who crossed the Red Sea, the story of Jesus who went to wilderness for 40 days? I was one such kid who kept hearing all these stories, and the one thing which connected me with all these stories was travel. I would like to share with you all my life experiences and how travel ideas in my bucket list has slowed things in my life and showed me the real connection. By connection I mean the connection with the nature, the connection with other human being, and the connection with my language, culture and history. I would also like to share with you all about how I manage my work, time, fear and money, and above all, my wife during travel. Who knows what a gap year is? Gap year is basically a break in your routine and you do what you love the most. Mostly people travel during the gap year. After my bachelor's degree, I was lucky to have a break. I could explore different options at that time. I could rediscover who I was, what I wanted to do, who are all these people around me. I started analyzing this with my childhood memories. I always remember the old classic adventure movies which I watched, my endless bicycle rides to the nearby villages, my first experience of handling a snake and watching a wild elephant breaking a football post like a twig. All these experiences showed me only one thing, that I was never ready for the desk job. A year after my bachelor's degree, I joined masters in social work. I traveled to a lot of rural part of India. I met a lot of new people. I listened to their stories. I laughed a lot with them, and sometimes I also wept with them after hearing their stories. And there began the desire to travel and explore. There was something different in the way I approached my life while traveling. I was more open to people, and travel showed me the perspective towards the realism. At the end of each trip, like everyone else, I was really afraid to get back to my routine life. I kept thinking how to make my everyday life just like the way I see while traveling. One of the greatest things about traveling is it truly connects you with the people. Without the true connection, the entire travel experience would become a flat experience. Connection doesn't need to be a kind of agreement signing. It can always be simple and always be silly. It always starts with a smile. I love to hear stories from the people, and I find tea stalls as the collection point of stories. I love to hear folk tales from the oldsters, and I think they are the masters in storytelling. With all these stories which you listen, you get one among them very easily. Even the person who says, I love traveling alone, is only fulfilled because he or she meets new people and listens to different stories. I would like to share with you all an incident which made me realize the feeling of oneness. I was fascinated by this musical instrument called parai. I started learning it and understood the preconception which people had towards this instrument. They said it belongs to a particular group of people. I wanted to empathize with that cause. I wanted to know what will people think if I carry this instrument to a public place. So I took parai and took a local train in Chennai. To my surprise, I saw an elderly gentleman who sat near me, and after looking at the instrument, he just shifted his seat. After this incident, my perspective towards that particular group of people entirely changed. At one occasion, I started playing this instrument in before them, and there it was, with their look and love. I could feel the real feeling of oneness. I was one among them very easily. Life was going so smooth for me. One time I was there in Dharavi, and another time I was there with big social action movement in Tamil Nadu. I just wanted to empathize with that people. I wanted to know what is the real pain at the grassroots level. But my parents had a very big strategy to stop me from doing all these things. Can you guess what it was? Yeah, what else? It was marriage. My parents always thought after marriage I will not do anything like this. But they didn't have any time to think about the bride, who was much crazier than me. 3 days after our marriage, we were on a month-long honeymoon trip to one of the world's treacherous road, all without knowing any language and routes. 15 days in Jammu Kashmir, we were staying in local huts. We were sharing rooms with other fellow travelers. We were having Maggi noodles and bread omelette one day, and next day bread omelette and Maggi noodles. But we had one of the best travel experiences life could ever give us. At the end of the trip, we were featured in Vigadan saying, Dil, Thrill, Tenilavel. We were also inspiring a lot of couples to travel together. When we reached back, we received all motivation from meme creators back at home. Many told me that you both should be the first couple to go on for a group honeymoon. I always said yes. But the trip showed us something further to it. While we were traveling from Leh to Manali, it was raining cats and dogs. At one particular point, we got stuck in a landslide and we were completely wet. And at that time, we had to stay there in those wet clothes in that higher elevation in a small hut. And that was one endurance test for us. The same travel experience also gave us one of the best romantic evenings in our life. We camped in a place with millions of stars so visible, with a campfire and with the Milky Way galaxy so visible, with a classic Ilayaraja song just at the background. It just flavored the moment and gave us one of the best romantic evenings of our life. We believe that travel is never about the destination. It is always about the journey. Each and every moment during our travel increased our understanding towards each other. We have been traveling two years till now, and now I see Princey more as a friend as much a wife. I would like to ask you all 2 questions which was asked in Big Talk movement. The first question is, what do you want to do or become before you die? Mostly the answer should be the one which you truly believed in, the one which you want to do. The second question is, what if you found out you're going to die tomorrow? Now the answer should be more personal. For me, my answers was to be with my closed ones. With all these experiences, I personally believe that true human connection starts at home. Only I had true human connections at home, and then it showed me different perspectives towards my life. Connections with human has helped me to understand more about them. Travel shows me different beliefs, cultures, and also history. During our corridor walk in the forest of Chhattisgarh, we met these wonderful tribals. We stayed in the tribal villages which doesn't have electricity. We had their own traditional food. We had local mawa drinks. We smoked their tendu bidis. And we saw this beautiful girl who had tattoos on their forehead. And after puberty, those ladies were having tattoos all over their body. They believed that tattoos helped them hide their private areas. All these learnings made me to understand and search for my cultural and relationship with my Tamil culture. Currently, we are on a bicycle trip around the state, exploring slowly as much as we could. We go to places of historical significance. We see lot of temples, lot of stories we hear, lot of stories about culture and nature, lot of stories about culture and our history. All these stories showed me some of the stories about turtles. The relationship between Tamil culture and this turtle was so fascinating that I was having a love for turtles. We even named ourselves Touring Turtles after that. It was more towards our character of slow and catalyst traveler. I have been working with the tribals, and one thing which fascinates me is their connection with the nature and forest where they live. I started appreciating nature from one of the trials which I went inside the forest with the tribals in search of honeybees. The walk was so powerful that the entire stories which I listened from the from tribals, on the stories of tribals and the stories of forest, made me realize the harmony between them with the forest. On another occasion, when I traveled to the forest of Madhya Pradesh, I was introduced to this concept of telepathy communication. Always had a belief that people can interact with plants and trees, but at that time everyone was hugging trees during those walk. Connection with nature made me realize the importance of it. One day in a tribal village, a tribal man asked me, "What is the difference between your home and our home?" I kept telling him cement, tiles, mud, etc. But his answer was so simple. He said, "We have got fingerprints all over our house during construction, and you don't." The answer, I was totally stunned with the answer. Working with the tribals taught me one of the foremost things, to really appreciate and notice the small things. Connection with the nature helped me realize the importance of the nature. I live in a place called Metupalayam, and which has a perennial river flowing all throughout the year. And I kept hearing about the water scarcity in our state. So I took up a walk from Chennai to Coimbatore, just for 500 kilometers. So I kept listening to the stories from the grassroots level, from the people, and the stories were so powerful that I could really empathize with the people on the water scarcity part. On another occasion, when I was cycling in Tamil Nadu, I met this person called Shiva, who is fondly known as Malai Shiva. So in English it is Rain Shiva. This person has been collecting water for last 7 years in his home with huge drums. I was shocked to know that for last 7 years they don't have water connection at their home. All they were using is only those rainwater. Travel is so powerful that it shows you the real problem and also the solution to it. It lets you enjoy each and every moment. Each and every moment which we enjoyed made us more sustainable and responsible to this Mother Earth. We were planning to travel around the country using only public transport. And we were surprised to see a team who was attempting Guinness World Records using only public transport. The title was Most UNESCO World Heritage Site Visits in 12 Hours using only public transport. We visited 7 UNESCO sites within 11 hours and 33 minutes. Currently we are Guinness World Record holders just because we were sustainable and also responsible to this Mother Earth. Well, with all these travel stories, you should probably be thinking that I'm a rich, jobless guy wandering and spending my hard-earned father's money. But the reality is very different. I work with WWF India full-time with the tribals. Money is secondary for travel. I've seen a lot of penniless travelers all over the world. With regard to the time, I just use all my holidays for travel. People try to encash it at the end of the year, but will their encashment really refresh your mind? Absolutely not. My friends always ask me, what has all these travel experiences given you? I would just say, it has just simply slowed things in my life. It has showed me the connection with the other life around in the planet. Not only understand them, but also accept and appreciate their way of living. My dear brothers and sisters, I invite all of you to have thoughtful travel ideas in your bucket list. Just give it a top priority. Just do it and feel the connection it takes you to. The connection which is going to change your lives forever.